Hey friends, nothingwire.com, and today we have the brand new Nikon D5200 DSLR here. In this part of the review, we're gonna do an unboxing for you and show you what's in the box. So let's get started. As you can see, a typical Nikon design box, black and golden color combination. That's the camera with the kit lens. You have the details here. It's a VR lens, of course. So when you go to buy this kit, you will get a bag as well as a 4 GB SD card. So let's check out what's in the box. So nothing much on this side. Then on this side you have what's supposed to be in the box, and then some supported technologies there. Yeah, so on this side again, nothing much. And then you have some pricing and marketing information there. By the way, with the 18 to 55 mm VR lens, this kit costs about 46k. It also comes with the 18 to 105 mm lens, which will go in excess of 54k. So on the back side again, nothing much, as you can see. It's a black color unit. It's available in 3 colors, by the way. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and unbox this kit for you. It comes with a 2-year warranty, as you can see here. So let's go and open this and let's check out what's in the box. Yeah, so immediately we have some Nikon service center information, the 2-year warranty card, and then we should have some so that's the quick start guide and detailed manual here, the warranty form there. It supports worldwide service warranty, so wherever you bought this device you don't have to worry if you're taking it to another country. So Nikon reference manual there. By the way, I would like to come back to it. Let's see if it actually contains the image editing software, image editing and organizing software. Yep, so you have the View Annex 2. That's Nikon's own image organizing and basic editing software. Yep, so there we have the body. Pretty heavy, which is a Nikon usual, because usually, and this body is no different, is prominently made of metal all over, so the added weight, but then it also gives you the stability to operate it with one hand. So we'll come back to the body later. We'll see what else is in the box. So we have the AV cable, the adapter, okay. Then we have the data cable, USB data cable, the strap, then we have the round pin adapter in case you do not have a European flat pin at your home, so that this goes in here. And then we have the battery here. There you go, ENEL 14030 mAh. And what else? Yeah, and then the only thing remains to be seen is the kit lens. So this should be the kit lens here. Yeah, so that's the very familiar and very popular Nikon 18 to 55 mm f3.5 max VR lens. It's a very popular and a very good lens. let's take all this off and let's come to the body now. So there you see the Nikon D5200. It looks much like the 5100, by the way. It looks like the D5100 to a great extent. Very sturdy body, feels great. You have the articulative LCD which can rotate in 270 degree. There you go. Yeah, so that's the unboxing for you. We're gonna take you to a detailed hardware tour in the next part of our review. Thank you. The D5200 is pretty similar to the D5100 in terms of looks, weight and dimensions. But then apart from a few modifications here and there, this guy looks a typical entry-level Nikon DSLR camera. Made mostly out of metal that gives the camera body that extra durability and stability while operating with hand, but overall increasing the weight. You have a touch of rubber here and there, mostly where those hole comes. Here, then on your thumb hold, here, and then onto the port flap. But then apart from that, the whole body is pure metal. There you see. Yeah, so starting from the front, we'll quickly go through the controls first. So here you have the autofocus assist lamp. You have the infrared receiver, that's the lens mount, it's an F mount. You have the mirror, the CPU contacts over there, the lens release button, the lens mount mark there, multifunction button and the flash button. So the kit lens, that is the 1855mm lens, goes here. You match this point with the mount mark and then rotate it towards upside and you get the whole camera there. Yeah. On top, let's start from here. That's the switch off and on lever. There you go. The shutter release button, the dedicated video button. You have the info toggle button. There you see. Then you have the exposure compensation button. This button also double as the aperture control button. We'll show that to you later. Yeah. Then you have this button through which you can toggle between various shooting mode like single frame and low continuous shooting, high continuous shooting, and while you're shooting with a remote or you want to set a self timer, you can do all that with this button. Right, then you have the mode dial here. You have the live view lever here. So the moment you, so there you see the info button initially, and the moment you bring the lever here, that's the live view button. Pull the lever again and it goes back to the info button. That's the eyelet for the strap on both sides. Then on top you have the speaker, so two speaker left and right, so it gives out stereo sound output. You have the accessory shoe which is covered, there you see. So your external flash goes here. You have the mic here. So this side we have a few ports. So you have the port for the external mic, and then you have the AV out here, the HDMI out here, and that's the terminal out for GPS and some other optional accessories. On the right side you have the single card slot. We would have expected at least a double card slot for a 24.1 MP camera. Bottom you have the tripod mount there and the battery case. There you go, that's the EN-EL14 battery. That's for the optional power connector. Yeah, so coming to the back, you have the 3-inch 270-degree rotating LCD. There you see. That lets you shoot from almost any angle that you want. Here, starting from this side, you have the menu button. You have the infrared receiver for the remote. Then you have the eye cap there for the viewfinder, the diopter settings, the info edit button, exposure and focus lock there. You also have the photo protection key lock there. You have the main command dial. Now this button comes into play. Now while you're in full manual mode, if you move this command dial, it will alter the shutter speed. But when you press this and then move this, this will work as the secondary command dial that alters the aperture. There's the playback button, multiple function dial there, the OK selection button, zoom in, zoom out, the delete button, and that's the indicator light for access to memory card. So whenever the camera is accessing the memory card information, this light will blink. And did I miss anything? No, so that's pretty much all the control buttons on the camera body. Now we won't go much deep into the lens because we've already seen this lens. This lens is very popular and it's been there for long. But then only for those who haven't seen this lens, it's a VR lens. It has its own autofocus motor there, so that you can set it to auto focus or manual focus mode. That you can see vibration reduction on or off. Nikon, it's a DX format lens. Then AFS, autofocus silent wave motor lens. Nikon 18 to 55 mm 1/3.5 till 5.6 G. G means that this lens does not have an aperture ring. So that's the zoom ring, and that's the manual focus dial. Yeah, so now let's go a little deeper into each of the controls here. Let's start from the switch on off lever here. There you can see it's off now. You can switch it on. The moment you switch it on, you will see this brilliant info screen on your LCD. It has 3 main dials there. That's for the shutter speed, aperture and the ISO. You also have the exposure scale here, then your focus points, then the number of shots that are available and some other settings. You can toggle this, as in switch on and off, with the info button. So that's your exposure compensation button. You can press that, and as you can see the exposure scale it sliding. So that's your exposure compensation button. It also helps in the function as in the second command dial, but we'll come to that in a little later. That's the dedicated video button. So to start the video, you need to first go to the live view mode. So pull in the lever, and there you see it goes to the live view. Now you can press dedicated video button and it will start recording. There you can see. So in any mode, the maximum the D5200 can record is of 20 minutes, and that's mainly in 60i and 30p format in Full HD. So press it again to end the movie. Pull the lever again to go away from the live view mode and come back to the info screen. There, and that's by pressing this you can select the number of shots that you want to take, like this single frame. Then you can go to continuous low speed, continuous high speed, self timer, remote plus self timer, remote, and some other things there. So we'll go back to single, which is default, and then you have the eyelet here as I told you before, and then comes the mode dial. We'll come back to the mode dial again a little later. Then I've shown you all this. So this pops up the flash. There you go. You can also attach an external flash here. Then it's a multifunctional button. So it's by default it's set to ISO, but you can change the settings in menu. So coming to menu, so it divides the whole menu in these six sections. So that's the playback menu, where you have options of deleting and naming the playback folders and options and some other stuffs. Then the shooting menu. There you go, the image quality. I have it in RAW. So if you like to process your photos a lot, then you should put it in RAW mode. I don't find RAW plus JPEG very useful, because anyway I'm gonna export them as JPEG, so I'll have the JPEG anyway. By the way, NEF RAW will take maximum space. So you have your white balance settings here, all usual. Set picture controls. Then some other settings here. I'm not going to show you all of them. So you can set your minimum ISO here, and then you can if you say auto ISO on, then the ISO will automatically go up to the maximum that you set here according to the situation. The movie setting, where you can see you have these movie formats. You have the Full HD at 60i, that is interlaced. You have 30p progressive. You have Full HD again, 24p progressive. You have HD 60p, and then 640 by 424 at 30p. Movie quality, and then again some other stuffs. Then you have the custom settings menu. Here you can set your bracketing, then your autofocus settings, and then some advanced settings. So mind you, if you're not very well versed with this kind of cameras, note that most of the default formats are generally fine, but then if you are interested in photography and want to learn, then it it's always useful to actually take the pain to sit with your manual and go through each of these settings to understand what these actually are. You have the setup menu. There you go. A retouch menu, a quick editing menu once you click your photograph. So it has really become advanced over the years, and now you have almost a prosumer level of editing right on your right on your camera. For some advanced editing, you'd probably still need a desktop software, but then if you really do not have time, then you can use many options in the retouch menu to make your photo even better. So coming back to the multifunction button, see, assign FN button or ISO sensitivity. So you can assign any of these. Press the menu again to come back to our familiar info screen. So you can edit any of the info here by pressing this button. So the ISO is highlighted, so you can press OK, and then you can change the ISO here. Press it again and it will come back. So press it, and with the multifunctional dial you can toggle between various options right on the info screen. So the options that needs or may need frequent changing are all available on the info screen, so that you do not have to go inside the menu and waste your time there. You can see you already have the white balance settings there. You have auto and some other stuffs, and then there you go, active delighting mode is there. HDR you can set. This HDR is not active because of the mode I have it here. So depending on the mode I'm selecting on the mode dial, some options might become unavailable. So there you can see, you can set SD card and standard and neutral or vivid, the picture controls. Although you can set them from the menu, but then here you can quickly change them if you need. Right, so once you've taken a photo, that's the playback button. Those are the photos that I've taken. So if you want to see the info, just press the up button and you'll see the histogram and the EXIF information there. By the way, when you buy this, by default this won't be on. So you have to go to the playback mode and playback display option. There I have all this selected. So if you say none, then none of the info will appear even if you press the up or down button there. Here you can quickly go to retouch menu by pressing OK and then quickly do some basic editings. Press the playback button to return. You can also delete. If I press this again, it will delete the picture. I like the picture, so I wouldn't like to delete it. However, I just don't like the delete button. Somehow it just sits way too inside for the comfort of the tip of my finger. Now on the info button, you can see the question mark blinking there. That means the camera has a warning. Now press this to see what the warning is. You can see lighting is poor, flash recommended, because it's pointing right here. So in that way, if the camera does not have the optimal setting, then it will warn you through the question mark there, and you can press this button to see what the warning is. That's very, very convenient, mind you, and it's as if almost the camera thinks for you. On the playback mode, you can zoom into a particular area. There, see, or zoom out. If you zoom out more than the picture, then it will go to the thumbnail mode. There you see. Okay. What else will come back? The info mode. Okay, now coming to the shooting dial. You know, auto is totally, it's like a point and shoot camera. It's a program mode where you have control over some things. You have the shutter priority, where when you change the main the command dial, when you rotate it, it will change the shutter speed here, as you can see, and the aperture gets changed, if possible, that is. Okay, so in the aperture priority mode, it's the aperture that will change, as you can see, and the shutter speed will change accordingly to make sure that the exposure is proper around the 0 mark here. Now if you prefer to take everything in your own hand, go to the full manual mode. In this mode, the moment you rotate the main command dial, the shutter speed will change, as you can see here. If you press the exposure compensation button and then rotate the command dial, it will change the aperture, you can see here. So this signifies exactly that. Okay, so there are some effects there. Now you can see better. So night vision will take a picture and you will see it as if you're looking through a night vision camera. Then you have the color sketch that will give the whole picture a cartoon sketch type appearance. Then you have a miniature effect, selective color, silhouette, high key and low key. All these effects are there in the D5100 as well. Apart from effects, you have the usual quick scene modes there, and then a flash of auto options. So as I told you before, also on the lens you can toggle it from the auto and the manual mode. So in the manual mode you can rotate this ring to set your focus. Note that although you can rotate, but you should never rotate this while this is in the auto mode, because that will destroy the motor, the autofocus motor inside. So never ever rotate the focus ring here while this is in auto mode. Always first bring it to manual mode and then only rotate the focus ring. And if you're operating this guy on tripod, make sure you switch off the VR. Now let's talk some technologies. One of the USPs of the D5100 and even this D5200 is the 270-degree articulating LCD screen. This is a VGA 971K dot screen, and as you can see, it can go this way, also can go this way, go this way. You can close it when you're not using it to prevent the screen from getting scratches. And the hinge is really strong, so no worries on that part. Then now, as this is an entry-level DSLR, it does not have an autofocus motor built in the body. That means it will only autofocus on the lenses that have their own autofocus motor, like this particular lens, which has an autofocus motor inside. That's why you can set the auto and manual mode here. It's a DX lens. Now it will also work with the effect lenses like this 70-300 lens. You can see this is also a VR lens. It's also an AFS lens. So all AFS and AFI lens will work on this camera because they will have their internal autofocus motor. And so if you don't know much about the technicalities, then look for the auto to manual toggle button. So if your lens has this, that means it has a built-in autofocus motor. So that lens will autofocus on this camera body. But this camera won't autofocus with two of my most favorites and in general popular lenses. This is the 50mm 1/8, also the 35mm 1/8 lenses. These lenses do not have an built-in autofocus motor. As you can see, there are no auto to manual toggle mode. So when you put this lens on, the lens will rely on an autofocus motor on the body. So the higher mid-range and the higher Nikon DSLRs like D90 and those above that has an autofocus motor on the body. So on that camera body you will find an autofocus and manual toggle button here. So while you wear that camera, this lens, you can control the autofocus of this lens with the button here. But because the D5200 does not have an autofocus motor built in the body, you cannot autofocus on this lens. So you'll have to resort to manual focus only with this lens. And that's mainly to save cost, because it's after all not a mid-range body. The D5200 has a maximum still resolution of 24.1 megapixel. That's 24.1 million pixels. Now there are some advantages and then some disadvantages. Two main advantages are, number one, if you do not have a very high zoom telephoto lens and you want to shoot, let's say, a bird, so you can shoot that with let's say your 70-300 lens, and then even if you crop to a relatively greater extent than in case of some other cameras, you will still retain much of the details due to the fact that there are much more pixels in each picture. Number two is that because it has a very good image processing engine, it has XP3 plus coupled with the 24.1 megapixel, it clicks great low light picture, and you would see very negligible grains even in upwards of 1600 ISO. Now the disadvantage is that the sizes of each image would be about 25 to 30 MP. Now unfortunately the D5200 has only one card slot here. So 25 to 30 MB photo on an 8 GB card would count to about 450 to 500, about 500 images. So make sure you have a high capacity SD card here, at least 32 GB. It shoots in full HD, 60i that is interlaced, or 30p that is progressive. So even then, even each movies take a lot of space. Yeah, and before I forget, this guy autofocuses while shooting movies, although slow, but then it's accurate after all. And last but not least, this guy has 39 focal points, much more as compared to the D5100, giving you more dynamic control over the subject area. Thank you.